The wildest extinct animals.
Survival of the fittest, a term ingrained in our modern understanding of the animal kingdom. And no, this has nothing to do with Tony the Tiger's rockin' bod. I don't know why they made him so sexy. This axiom was coined by Charles Darwin to describe how animals adapt to survive in adverse situations. Kind of like how over time...
Yeah, what a nerd Charles Darwin was. Oh, I'm going to study these finches and see how... Oh, their beak size is dependent on which fucking food source they have on the Galapagos. Oh, this fucking turtle that I... Nerd! Oh, you started the foundational proof of evolution. Oh, something very monumental in us understanding our past. Oh, you learned about pea plant?
Are we really to believe that all of these species were so tragically unfit that Mother Nature had to hit them with the genocide?
Nah, sometimes it was just RNG, dude. The meteor, man. Meteor didn't strike, we wouldn't exist. Like, if the meteor didn't wipe out the dinosaurs and all that other shit, we probably just wouldn't be here. Yo, that is kind of wild. A random event happening in the universe post-Big Bang led to us existing. Like, obviously, that's every event that occurred up to human existence. But, like... the fact that if the dinosaurs didn't go extinct, we probably wouldn't exist.
How do animals go extinct? What are the mechanisms? Am I going to go the way of the dodo if I keep eating Little Debbie honey buns? Well, today we're gonna find out. Buckle up, bitches. Today we're gonna be talking about the dead animals. Well, the extinct animals. We're not gonna be like cutting open frogs. You understand what this is.
It's also wild, our ancestors, if humans don't go extinct, our ancestors will be dead. But people that exist after us, right, thousands and thousands of years in the future, won't be human and won't be capable of communicating or understanding us. Just as we can't understand, like, pre-human animals, like, or even just like our early ancestor, like hominids. 100,000 years from now, if there's some sort of descendant of you, they'll look back at you the way we look back at like the first ape that walked.
So what happens when nature decides not to re-up its contract with living species all across this earth? Well, we will find out and look at a bunch of cool extinct animals after this ad break. See, I gave you...
And what's crazy is like when the meteor hit the dinosaurs, there was some fucking ferret that, not an actual ferret, but something that was like a ferret that was underground, just like, that's your great-grandfather. That's related to you. If that thing died, you wouldn't exist. And when that little ferret fucker was going to town in the Goon Cave 6 billion years ago, or however many billions of years ago, if it did it another day, you also wouldn't exist. Butterfly effect. I say it all the time, but it's wild to think about. Like, if you get into a traffic stop and you delay somebody going home, and then they have sex with their wife and they conceived 5 minutes later, which could result in a different sperm cell reaching the egg at a different time, which could result in a different human being born. The odds that you are here are so astronomically low because so many things could have delayed or resulted in different sperms reaching the eggs or different things being born and different mates happening. It's not just who you're with, it's when it's going down. And then like in what situation it's going. Oh my God, there's so many fucking things that determine whether or not you live.
So let's talk about some big hitters in the long gone animal scene. These are the types of animals that really paved the way for the other animals that decided they've already ran their course on this beautiful earth. And we have to pay our respects to such an admirable mentality. Just giving up, that's what I'm all about. I mean, first of all, we gotta talk about the dodo. These flightless birds were living good for the majority of their history. They had their own little island where they could eat, sleep, mate, and just hop around peacefully. They had no real natural predators on the island, so they could get big and fat and not really worry. That is until one of the worst things that could happen to a species happened to this species. The Dutch arrived. Introduced to dogs, cats, pigs, and rats, the toe-headed stoners brought nothing but pain to the dodos when they arrived on their home island in the Indian Ocean. But let me give a quick message to all the flightless birds out there. You fucked up. This is on you. You were given the gift of flight and you squandered it. Do you understand how insane that is?
Yeah, no, it actually is really fucking stupid that birds exist that can't fly. Because why do you have wings? Why not grow opposable thumbs and just be a different type? Why not just be a mammal? You know? I don't want to be speciesist here, but why not just be a fucking mammal? Like, why the hell do ostriches have wings? It's pointless. You don't fucking use them for anything because you're too heavy to fly.
Since the dodos didn't have any predators before the Dutch arrived, they showed no fear towards the things that were going to kill them, which led to free meals for anyone who just wanted to stick a fork.
Does the survival of the fittest exist for humans? No, not anymore. I would say it depends in what stance. Like, in terms of money, maybe, but in terms of, like, reproduction, fuck no. Being well off has nothing to do with reproducing. 50,000 years ago, if you had a lot of food, a lot of water, and you were good at surviving, you were the one that reproduced. But that's not, we live in a society, right, that has no bound anymore, right? You could just have kids whenever, even if it's not, you know, capable of taking care of that kid or not. In terms of health, yeah, the survival of the fittest, and yeah, if you die. But even if you're really unhealthy, you're still probably going to have a kid before you die. For most people. Because an average lifespan of a human is what? 72, 75 years in the US? The really unhealthy humans that are going to die at 50 have kids at 30. So they're still reproducing. It's not changing that. There's still sexual selection. Yeah, but it's sexual selection. Sexual selection amongst humans is more preference than performance. And that's not wrong, right? It's showing that we're different from other animals, but sexual preference is more of a thing in humans in that you reproduce who you want to reproduce with, not who is going to be the fastest, strongest, and smartest. That's not how you pick your mate. You pick your mate based on how well they understand you emotionally and whether or not your personalities match and if you enjoy the same things. Entirely different from choosing a mate based on, hey, I think this person's going to be able to run far, jump high, and live long. Like, people aren't usually picking their partners off of that.
The next star on the roster, of course, is the woolly mammoth. Now, there's debate whether climate change or overhunting caused the decline in the woolly mammoth's population. It was probably a combination of both because warmer temperatures made it so humans could spread out further across the land, and then they found the woolly mammoth. And if history has taught us anything, it's that when humans arrive somewhere, they're gonna kill something. And can you really blame early humans? Just one of these things had thick fur for clothes, tusk for weaponry and decoration, and enough meat to feed the entire Dallas Cowboy offensive line for the whole season. It was basic.
And they weren't extinct for that long. When the pyramids were being built, woolly mammoths were walking the earth. So 6,000 years ago. 6,000 years ago, woolly mammoths were still chilling, right? Whenever you think of a woolly mammoth, you're probably thinking of Ice Age, and then you're going way back, and you're like, oh, fuck, they haven't been around for a while. But then you remember there's a kid during the Ice Age movie. Remember that? Remember the really punchable kid from the Ice Age movie? And then you remember, oh my God, they were actually depicting it correctly.
But they had a good run. They lived for about 5 million years before humans hit them with the old pointy stick and large rock routine. And either way, they became immortalized by being part of the inspiration for the original Power Rangers Megazord, which is this thing. And the mammoth was the shield. So, you can win some and you can lose some, but I feel like this is a pretty big W. We have the giant ground sloth, which, Jesus Christ, that's actually kind of terrifying. You know how modern sloths are these goofy, dumb, slow-moving animals? Well, that's what these were, but they were actually giant and had fucking razor-sharp claws. So not that cute.
If I could go back to what would be the worst time period to go back to in Earth's history? Where things lived, not where it was just lava. The period where all the bugs were big. I don't know where that was. That would be the worst. I would rather live when the dinosaurs lived. The dinosaur era. Chat, the dinosaur era is very long. People don't realize it, but some dinosaurs existed as far away from a T-Rex as we are from T-Rexes. I don't remember which one it is, but if you look into like dinosaur history, dinosaurs were around for so long that like early dinosaurs are as far away from T-Rexes as they are from us. Insects reached their biggest sizes 300 million years ago during the late Carboniferous and early Permian periods. Giant dragonflies with wingspans of 28 inches. That would be scary, dude. Being in the middle of the jungle and there's like a bug that just goes, and it just, when it's a stinger that's like this fat that just injects itself into your fucking neck and you just die instantaneously.
Actually, one swipe and you'd be...
It wouldn't eat you? Not that one. But other bugs probably would.
looking like a cheese grater ran across you. These lazy bastards were taken out.
What animal would you bring back from extinction? Mini elephants. It'd be like owning like a donkey. Like fully grown. That would be so sick to have a pet elephant.
But fun fact, a giant ground sloth population lived in New Jersey, which is fucking me up mentally. For
What? Should I just start digging around trying to find their bones?
animals, I don't think of America. Like, I think of, like, in the jungle or you're in some kind of snowy tundra. But no, people are digging up giant sloth fossils on the jug handles of the Jersey Turnpike. It just doesn't seem correct to me. But it's real. They lived in Jersey and now they're dead. Like Jimmy Hoffa or the financial dreams of thousands of Italian Americans. Let's get a little bit smaller and focus on the golden toad. The golden toad is the first animal that started thinning out within the modern era. These guys went extinct in the 1980s, which means they were around long enough to watch Ronald Reagan destroy the middle class. Scientists say they bit the bullet because of a deadly fungus that swept them like the Caps in '98. But the most tragic thing about losing these little guys was, well, it's actually hard to say without sounding weird. When these guys mated, by scientific accounts, it was really pretty. Like, it looked really cool when they had sex. Herpetologist
What? What do you mean? Like they would glow? Like people would gather around and watch them fuck?
Martha Crump recorded the golden toad's mating rituals. In her book, In the Search of the Golden Frog, she described it as one of the most incredible sights I've ever seen, and she said they look like statues dazzling jewels on the forest floor. Now, there is a lot going on in that paragraph I just said. I mean,
dude, just imagine not watching it yourself. Imagine watching someone watch just golden toads fuck. She starts crying. She's like, oh my God.
I just learned that
This is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
study of amphibians is herpetologists, which I would assume was the study of STDs, but no, they're talking about frogs. I learned that a lady who watched frogs fuck was named Martha Crump, which is almost too perfect. And I found out that watching frogs have sex is something to do, like turning on the TV. And if they were still alive today, they'd be underground in Costa Rica like a bunch of doomsday preppers, but sadly, fungus ruined everything for everyone, much like The Last of Us. Here's one of my favorites. We're gonna talk about the passenger pigeon. I love pigeons. I love their pudge. I love the way they squawk.
I don't understand carrier pigeons. I've never understood carrier pigeons. How do you train a dumb fucking bird to carry something from a very specific destination to another very specific destination? I know they have very knowledgeable flight patterns and their migration periods are like really complex, but like how the fuck am I how the hell am I tying something to a pigeon and that motherfucker is flying it to somewhere else?
I love the fact that they deliver letters sometimes, which is crazy to think about. The passenger pigeon used to be an extremely common bird. In fact, they were so common that it was said that a flock of them would literally blot out the sun if they were flying too close together. But sadly, like most animals, they were delicious. That was the biggest mistake they could have made. Passenger pigeons did not stand a chance due to overhunting and deforestation. And this was around the time when Whitey was fighting the Native Americans to get all the land they could in America. So technically, their pigeon meat was the main thing fueling Manifest Destiny with these fucking losers. What they should have done was get a job. The carrier pigeons saw what was going on with their cousins and they were like, Jesus Christ, let's start carrying letters. Let's figure something out because we need to be important to these people. They're gonna eat us. On the exact opposite side of a delicious, cute, pudgy bird, we have the megalodon. You might know this terrifying creature from movies such as Big Fucking Shark and Big Fucking
Yo, Meg 2 was the worst movie I've ever seen. Like, genuinely almost as bad as Hubie Halloween. It was just boring. Like, the entire movie was fucking boring. Meg 1 had some sort of suspense. Meg 2 was like, all right, time for round 2. And then a bunch of people died, and then he, like, just threw a bunch of spears at the Meg. The fucking Meg. The fucking Meg, Jason Statham. My name's Jason Statham. Jason Statham used to be, like, one of my favorite actors. And now it's like, holy fucking shit. Oh my God. Another British villain. Who is it? Oh my God, he turned the corner. It's Jason Statham.
To exist and possibly the most deadliest predator of all. They were between 15 and 82 feet long and weighed between 30 and 143 metric tons. What the fuck? They also apparently ate 2,500 pounds of food a day. So like one meal at the Cheesecake Factory. I love the Cheesecake Factory. But what could take out such a fearsome creature? What could doom an entire species of such horrifying magnitude? Was it a bigger, more vicious creature? No, it was water getting warm. That's what killed these things. And it's a shame these guys actually went extinct because if they didn't go extinct, we probably wouldn't have to deal with overfishing because we would avoid those shorelines like a motherfucker, which is also great because the beach.
Dude, that's what I don't understand is like, I know shark populations are going down. I took a whole fucking college semester on sharks, And I remember before I took that class, I was like, why don't we kill all the sharks so then we just have the food? And that sounds wild, but like that was a solution that I had in my mind. I was like, okay, overfishing problem. Why don't we kill everything that kills those fish and then just fucking fish the shit out of everything? But it actually ruins the ecosystem. And I don't remember how, because I'm going to keep it a buck. I already got the degree. I did not pay attention in any singular class for sharks myth and sharks something in mythology. Never once paid attention in any of those classes. It was the most boring class in the world. We would learn about like the ball sacks of fucking hammerhead sharks. That's how bad that class was. It was so fucking nullingly boring. The worst class I've ever taken in college was oceanography. It fucking sucked. It was so bad. It was about mapping the bottom of the ocean. Oh my God. It was math and graphs. And that was it.
Here's a sad one, the western black rhino. I mean, first of all, rhinos to me look like Pokemon. I don't have any real reason for that, but I mean, like, their nose is a giant horn, and they're all one color, and they're very angular. I'm sure there's a Pokemon that looks like them. Editor, can we put up a picture of that?
Yeah, but I feel like the Pokemon that look like a rhinoceros are because a rhinoceros exists. Like, that's definitely off a rhinoceros.
Yeah? Does that exist? Okay, perfect. So anyway, the western black rhino is the first animal to bite this species bullet for an extremely dumb reason. These big, powerful hunks fell victim to poachers. Womp womp. Their horns were extremely expensive and popular trades amongst...
Who said womp womp to them dying to poachers?
Dipshits, because they had apparent medical properties and also they were trophies for rich people. And the medicine aspect of it has been proven to be fully bullshit, so they could have pulled back on that a tad. And the rich people shit is just rich people. They're gonna want things you tell them they can't have, so that's just an issue in itself. And it didn't help that the Chinese dictator Mao Zedong started pushing Chinese traditional medicine in the 1950s.
Bro, I can't get over that fucking haircut. That is like horrible. Like, who the fuck told that man that was a good cut?
And boy, oh boy, wasn't the rhino horn the fucking Tylenol of Chinese traditional medicine, and that really fucked them up. Their cousins, the white rhino, though, were on an endangered list, and now they're bouncing back big. So clearly there's like a race thing going on here. I don't know what that is, but the white ones are doing better than the black ones, and I don't like the vibe of that. And finally, we have the giant beaver. Oh man, what a ridiculous fucking animal. By some accounts saying they were as large as a bear, the giant beaver went extinct due to global warming, and they lost a lot of their habitats. The next time you decide to throw plastic in the regular trash, just know that those kind of actions are the reason why we don't have the big beav anymore, and they were notably pretty formidable foes in the animal kingdom. According to Native American mythology, the dams that they would make created the Great Lakes, which makes sense. Those lakes are fucking...
What? The dams they made the Great Lakes. Oh, that's according to mythology,
crazy.
Though?
Have you ever thought about how big those lakes are? Go to Chicago. It's like an ocean. So now that we've covered all the animals that are cool and dead, let's talk about all the animals that fucking sucked and are also dead.
Dodo birds. People always yap. Whenever you think of an extinct animal, people always go dodo birds, dinosaurs. Dodo birds are so fucking stupid.
Just because some of these animals are long gone doesn't mean we can't speak ill of them, because once again, they fucking sucked and I hate them. So let's start dancing on some graves and talk about the boners of the animal kingdom that have died. Up first, we have the Titan boa, which sounds like an evil anime villain, but it was a real animal. So using context clues, what do we think the Titan boa was?
I'm pretty sure it was just a big boa constrictor.
Any guesses? That's right, a large goddamn snake. 50 feet in length on average, these fellas were, and I don't think I have to explain why I'm giddy at the fact that these things are no longer around. These things will most likely get revived for a low-budget, shitty horror movie, but...
Imagine if that was like just a random household problem. Like, you know how, like, in the West Coast, kids get killed by, like, mountain lions and shit? Imagine there was, like, a state of emergency. Hey, the boa constrictors in people's yards again. Don't let your kids out. They'll get eaten.
Actually, I think that might already happen. Is there a big snake movie? But the sad thing is we haven't explored a lot of jungles and shit on this earth, so this thing might still be around. So if we find one, we need to tattoo the words "do not resuscitate" on the side of it and then feed it a lead bullet so we never have to fucking see it again. Next up, we have the walking worm, which I wish was just a snake, but it is way worse. All right, so you guys know the Loch Ness Monster, right? Something that definitely doesn't exist, but people in the comments are gonna yell at me for. Well, she had nothing on these freaky little worms that walked on tentacle legs. Good lord. They also had these like cartoonishly evil spikes coming out of the back of them, and I don't know what purpose they served, but
Yo, how do worms fuck or reproduce, for that matter? They don't? Bro, they have to. How do worms reproduce? The male cells on each worm then fertilize the female cells on the other by exchanging sperm. Two mature worms lie next to each other head to tail and bring their sex organs into contact. When the worms break apart, each fertilized worm secretes a mucus substance that helps the eggs capsule form. Bro. Graphic image here. This is two worms having sex. I know. Shield your eyes. Ah! It just looks like they're laying down.
I'll tell you this. If I went into a shower and I accidentally stepped on this slimy, spiky, tentacle abomination, I can't say what I would do. Because they'll take the money away from these YouTubers.
That's TOS. It's actually not TOS. I'm pretty sure it's not TOS to show other animals having sex on Twitch, as shocking as that may be.
Video, but just
I don't know for sure.
Next up, we have terror birds. Their name is terror birds. What do they look like?
Imagine that is. Band, reasoning, two worms fucking.
Oh, yep, that tracks. These 10-foot birds had beaks so big that they could grab their prey and snap their skulls. That's right.
Wow.
And it could also weigh up to a ton? 2,000 pounds? That's too much for a bird. But they lived in North America, and when global temperatures changed and let that Panama Bridge show up, the jungle cat showed up and fucked up their population. So that's another point for why cats fucking rock. They killed these dumb birds. And then we have the splendid poison frog. Yes, that's their name. I'm not giving them a 20th century compliment. Not a lot to say about these dudes besides the fact that they were horrendously poisonous. Same shit happened to them that happened to the golden glitter toads that look cool when they had sex. A fungus took them out and clicked their foreheads, and they haven't been around since the early 90s. However, there is a weird caveat to that fact. Because so many of these frogs were harvested for the international pet trade, the scientists believe that there is a small chance that some of these things still live in captivity. In some weird guy's basement, there might be a sleeper cell of a family of these frogs living, and that guy has no idea.
Wow. Like the whole species is gone, but there's some dude that's just been raising these and he has no knowledge that his frogs are just fucking the only ones left to exist. He just thinks they're like cool looking fucking tropical frogs.
The scientific implications he has living under his floorboards. So if your dad collected frogs in the 90s, go down to your basement and give it a look. You might be a herpetologist hero. Finally, we have the mega piranha. It's a, you know, do you guys need me to explain this? Mega piranha, you know those things that swim in the ocean and can strip a cow of its meat in like 3 seconds? Well, they put the word mega in front of that because this thing is so fucking deadly.
Critically endangered. Aren't polar bears critically endangered?
So real quick, at the end of the video, I just want to talk about animals that are going to die soon if we don't do anything about it. Once again, I want to get a little preachy. These things are rapidly approaching their expiration date, like that gallon of milk I bought just to eat one bowl of cereal.
That'll be sad if polar bears die.
Because I was craving some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, so if we can get a little focus on these guys, it would be good so we can, you know, live with them for the rest of humanity. I mean,
polar bears are not endangered, and now I'm fact-checking you. Are polar bears endangered? Oh, they're vulnerable under the Endangered Species Act. So not technically endangered, but they're getting there.
Obviously, we have the blue whale. That one's going away pretty quickly. The blue whale population has been decimated. They started out with like 350,000 of them, and now we're down to 25,000 of them, if that. A lot of them were taken out during the whaling part of humanity. We couldn't get enough of that sweet, sweet whale
Isn't the blue whale also the biggest animal that's ever existed on Earth?
But nowadays,
Like,
everyone's
weight-wise?
chilled out on that, kind of. There's still some countries that are like, you know, all about whaling, but besides them, we're all kind of collectively agreeing not to kill the blue whale. And the biggest threat to blue whales nowadays is just big ships hitting them, which is, I'm trying not to laugh. It's just
Is that really the biggest threat to blue whales, is just ships killing them?
crazy something so magnificent and so big and
I thought it was just them getting beached.
so intelligent can be taken out by a Carnival cruise line. I feel like there's some kind of simile going on there. Then we have the orangutan. No, silly monkey, no. Have you guys seen that meme of the orangutan in a zoo and he sits next to the window and like the lady's showing him objects out of her bag and he keeps making this motion like he's unimpressed? If these things die, we're gonna have no more memes like that. Leave the monkeys alone. We're all
That is crazy they know how to point. Like they're they're motioning to you what they want to see.
also gonna lose the sea otter soon. The fucking sea otter.
No! Oh my god, how many sea otters? How many sea otters are left? 3,000? How many otters are left? The sea otter population is down to about 1,000 worldwide, but there's 130,000 otters. What? What types of otters are there? Lake otters?
Otter, the things with their favorite pebbles, you want to lose those? In the time
Yeah, and they have a little pocket rock. They have a little pocket rock that they bring around, and they hammer shells open. Oh my god. They're so fucking cute. Like, yo, chat, I honestly think sea otters might be the cutest animal that exists. Like, I'm being so dead ass. Like, my favorite animal is dogs, but, like, oh my God, dude. Sea otters are just hilarious. Yo, how do I get a job working with otters? How do I get a job working with otters? Somebody tell me. Do I need to get a specific degree for that? I'll watch otter videos for the rest of the stream.
We should take responsibility for our individual actions when it comes to the bare minimum of not fucking up the environment. If we reverse the decline of these critically endangered species, just imagine what we could have. What other species could we strap to a skateboard? What other silly videos could we wake up and be so happy to see in the morning? And in this new age of cloning technology, we could bring some of the things we killed a long time ago back. They're working on bringing back the woolly mammoth, which is probably going to be devastating. It's probably not a good idea, but at least they're trying. I mean, cloning is probably going to lead to me dodging
Yeah, I don't understand how they bring that back.
Giant,
that really just doesn't make sense to me.
beavers on the highway while I try and go get another gallon of whale oil. But whatever. New videos every...
All right. Also, WVid. Also, we need to cut one of the videos because I do want to play games today.